Okay, we on now. So Miguel, it's been like a week since E3. I got
Yeah.
all finished up on I guess Friday, Thursday, something like that. Uh, what did you think of it? Like, out of
Well,
everything?
to be completely honest, I didn't watch too much after day zero because
Hmm.
that's when most of the stuff happened.
Uh-huh.
But after that, I mostly watched the fighting game tournaments. Like they had a Super Smash Brothers tournament and a Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I spent most of my time on.
Cool. So yeah, like some of the show stuff afterwards was like pretty interesting to see some of the smaller stuff come out and actually see some gameplay of the things that were there. But I definitely think most people tune in for the press conferences and stuff for day zero and day one. Did you like E3 or?
I think that E3 this year was like there wasn't necessarily a publisher or a hardware provider that sucked.
Okay,
To be fair,
so it,
like
so it was closer, I guess, than it's ever been.
yeah,
For yeah,
I mean
which
last year we had the Xbox One whole thing
kerfluffle.
happened, yeah,
Yeah, and then
and
Sony going in for like the body blows right afterwards.
rubbing salt in their wounds and stuff, and
Yeah,
they even did some stuff like that this year too. We are
I
the
get,
only. What did they say? I don't know, whatever, but they didn't let up on it.
yeah. I guess I'll just go order like for the press conferences because we both watch most of them. I feel like Microsoft definitely came back this year with just mostly games. Like it was pretty much all game stuff, which was nice. Barely any Connect in there. I think it was a
I
downloadable Dance Central, and that was it.
they well the Dance Central thing was just it's so silly
Hmm.
because the free version of Dance Central you don't even need to connect because it uses your phone's accelerometer or gyroscope. So
Hmm.
you don't even need to dance, you just wave it around and it might count for points. Who knows? But as far as Microsoft C3 conference, I feel like this has been it almost expected with the whole like 180 that they have been doing for these last 6 months.
Hmm.
That I'm not surprised by it. Like they've been wanting to basically get into the gamers better halves or whatever. Like they have been trying to win back gamers.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
it's been pretty interesting to see them make all these sort of drastic moves away from what their original pitch was like a year ago. I
it's
feel like it's a step in the right direction, but
it's really, but it's kind of unfortunate at the same time
yeah.
because they had some really good ideas, but I just feel like they could have done exactly what they wanted to last
Hmm.
year if they had just worded it better.
Yeah,
Like,
like just ran it by somebody to make it seem a little less
well,
draconian.
it just seems like from the consumer's perspective, it just seems like they were grabbing a handful of shit and just forcing it down your throat.
Pretty much, like they didn't list off the benefits for getting rid of all your digital rights and stuff like that. So, uh,
But
I mean, like, go ahead.
go on. Okay, well, if you think about all the things that Microsoft said they wanted to do with the Xbox One, Sony basically did themselves. But they
Hmm.
were not to say that they were that they were sneaky about it. They just kind of gave you what you wanted as well as these other alternatives that Microsoft was trying to like. They just approached the same thing better. Maybe a
Yeah,
bit. They were a bit more innocuous about it, but
I mean, like, the downside is that the consoles are so kind of homogenized now that I feel like it's a little less interesting. But it's better that you know there are now reasons why a gamer like you or I might actually want to pick up an Xbox One. Cheaper price points, some actually interesting exclusives now. I feel like. But my
well,
favorite trailer, I think. No, sorry. Okay, you got
well,
more.
I mean, going off of what you just said about the exclusives, it's now that the both the systems are so similar in terms of hardware and software. I mean, the Xbox One is only like a little bit behind of the PlayStation,
Marginally, yeah, less powerful, but
but it's negligible in most cases. But now we can, instead of having a pissing contest about the hardware, we can now move on to the more important things, which is the games. Like
exactly.
what games are each system going to be able to provide?
Right. You could, I feel bad for the people that like went out and I feel bad for you, Miguel, because you bought a PS4 up till now. I just what you got to play, I guess, Infamous and what else? Uh, I,
Destiny
Destiny
Alpha.
Alpha. Yeah. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about that before we get back into E3 stuff. So, did you get into that before or after E3 started up?
I got into the alpha. See, I saw the email after E3 started, but it's been sitting in my email for like I didn't see it until then.
Okay.
But it was I was kind of whatever with Destiny. I was really interested in it because it's like Bungie's first cross-platform title. See what they're going to do. That's not another iteration of Halo,
Right.
and I really like it.
Okay. That's
It's
good. I'm glad to hear that it's not garbage.
it's kind of weird to describe because they take some the Halo control schemes that Bungie is famous for,
Right.
and they take kind of like the Borderlands RPG-esque gear grind,
Hmm.
and they put them together, and they also take a few MMO design like with public what are they called, public like missions and
Quests and
stuff,
events. Yeah.
and also
Public
like
events.
they have like these little grind things where if you work for a certain faction for a certain amount of time, you get benefits from it,
Hmm.
and people just running into your iteration of the game basically in the world. It's a lot.
I've heard
It
it's sort of
works.
like a localized Borderlands kind of, just like these small MMO pockets in the world.
It works really well.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, like we've been seeing a lot of footage pop up since E3, and I feel like that they really needed this just because this small slice because I've watched a few streams of it. Like just seeing the game played for like an hour or two gives you such a better idea than what they've been saying
Well,
it's what it was going to be. We had like no real idea that it's this
well,
kind of MMO shooter thingy.
what people thought before Destiny the alpha happened was people were generally like, so it's like Halo meets Borderlands, right? And now that we have the alpha, we can just say it's like Halo meets Borderlands.
So yeah, so we're confirming that. It just because they don't want to say that. They'll never say. Oh, they'll be like, oh,
No,
Destiny is this new, unique, dynamic
but
thing.
it takes a lot of what made Borderlands so good was the humor,
Hmm.
like the art style and the humor. But Destiny, it doesn't. It has a much more serious tone, and if anything, it feels like Mass Effect.
So you think like the universe is really well realized just from what you've gotten so far?
Yeah, like you have all these different enemies, you have this really rich lore, kind of like magic sci-fi thing happening.
Yeah. It seems like a really interesting hybrid in terms of genre. So I'm eager to see where that goes. What class have you been playing? Have you tried them
I
all?
actually max all of them out.
What's your favorite out of all of them then?
I maxed them all out just to make sure that I avoided the shittiest class when I
When
first
you play for real.
yeah, when I played for real.
What's the worst class?
Actually, they're all really good in different ways.
So
I
you
would
failed. You
I would
failed at your
say,
job.
well, let's say Hunter, for instance. Hunter, the regular kind of super that each class gets, because each class,
Supercharge. Yeah.
yeah, each class, the classes are only really defined by their abilities that you only get to use like once or twice every couple minutes or so.
So the Titan isn't actually like tankier than a Warlock, or?
They are less squishy
Mhm.
than a Warlock, but aside from that, most of the game is still just you pointing your gun and shooting at things.
Okay.
But that being said, the differences are really nuanced, but they're pretty significant. For example, the Warlock, basically, the powers are summed up into three different powers. You have your melee power, your grenade power, and your super. The Warlock grenade, the basic grenade version, is you throw it out, and it makes a singularity where anything inside of the area takes damage over time.
And so yeah, it's like a dot that's sort of AoE dot.
Yeah. The melee
Is it ranged? I've watched this a few times. It
well,
looks like it hits further than a regular melee might.
well the Warlock's melee is just a little area in front of him, and it doesn't hit as hard as the other two, but it stuns more. And if you hit someone with your power, with your melee power, it saps super meter from them. So
Okay.
that's one way of keeping up your super. And then their actual super is they throw out this huge like missile thing,
The
and it creates
Nova bomb, I'm pretty
yeah the
sure.
Nova bomb, and it basically disintegrates anything that it hits.
Yeah, I've seen some
So
like PvP footage of that, and like a lot of double, triple kills with that kind of thing.
yeah,
If you
it's
place it
it's
right.
Warlock is practically your AOE damage dealer.
Like, and you look really cool doing it just because the really floaty jump. You get to get yourself really high, airborne, and then place your target wherever you want. Just
Yeah.
looks like a ton of fun. That's like Warlock is the thing I'm leaning towards just based on what I've seen so far.
Well, in PvP, I would say they are the weakest
Mm-hmm.
because their abilities require special placement and they require people to basically be standing still inside of the singularity and stuff. Now,
Whereas,
Hunter, on the other hand, they're a much more aggressive kind of. I say that they lean more towards PvP because what their super does, the basic super, is they don't have a power or anything. They don't just like summon a huge wave of fire and then kill someone.
isn't it just
They
like a
get
buff?
they get a pistol, a magnum that's powered with like solar power, and it you get 3 bullets, and
Mm-hmm.
it can practically one-shot anything with each bullet. So imagine you just use your super, and then you can just walk around one-shotting things.
Okay, what's this orb of light system I see when a hunter is played?
Orb of Light actually happens with anyone really. It's from what I can gather, because the game doesn't really the alpha doesn't really explain much of anything. You kind of have to experiment and figure it out, which I think is like they just shipped the alpha. They didn't really care about
Right.
that. But from what I could tell is whenever someone would use their super and they killed someone with it, it would dispense orbs of light. And you yourself can't pick them up, but other players can pick them up, and the orbs of light charge their super, basically.
Okay. But I'm emphasizing team play then, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind
And
of it's weird because at first like this player created 3 orbs of light. This player created 1 orb. I was like, what the hell is an orb of
orb
light?
of light, yeah. The same thing too. I was watching this. I'm like, okay, that's great. What do we do with these? But
Oh,
and then so Titan is just a point jump and slam down. I've like that's
yeah.
similar to the Warlock. I've seen a lot of multi kills with that as well.
Well, theirs is basically it's much faster than the Warlock because the thing about the Warlock is they have a animation startup before they send out their Nova Bomb.
Hmm.
Um, the Titan is almost instant. They just jump up and kill you. Like
So
I have like you would turn a corner and then you'd die and you didn't even see what killed you. Is how
so
fast that
I take it
animation
that you've
is.
played the PvP then quite a bit.
Just a few times.
Okay, what do you and so do you like it with the is there you feel like there's a good amount of dynamism between these three different classes and
I think, like I said before, I believe that Warlock is not the strongest,
hmm
but but on the other hand, since they do have AOE like capabilities, they are much better at defending because they can just drop a grenade and the grenade will stay there for like 5 to 10 seconds.
what are the
And
PvP match types right now? Is it just capture
so
the flag or,
it's not capture the flag, it's
point
capture
control?
the yeah point control, capture the points, and it's 6v6.
And does it do
And
anything to balance the classes, or can you get like 6 Titans?
you
Or
can get 6 Titans. You can get six Warlocks or whatever, which is, I mean, it's fine. It's just like matchmaking. You can go in with, you can make your own
a
fire
pre-made?
team, yeah, and go in there.
Have you done that at
Um,
all? Or
I mean, I've only played with a couple people. I mostly
okay,
went in with me, myself, and I.
gotcha.
It's,
Uh,
but I wasn't going to pre-order it before, but now I'm probably going to pre-order it in the next few days.
I mean, I got a pre-order way back when just to hop into the beta, and unfortunately right now I'm signed up I think for the 360 beta because I'm lagging behind in terms of next gen consoles. Are pretty
Bless
much
your heart.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I doubled down on the PC. I've been pretty happy with it so far, and I feel
Well,
like this game is screaming to come out on PC, but they're not doing it for whatever reason.
apparently, there was a rumor, like someone in Bungie mentioned something about a PC version, but that got sealed up real fast.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't surprise me. This is
I
like
I could see it being like a timed, like exclusive thing for consoles.
a year later. This kind of like going back to E3, I guess. During Sony's press conference, something that sort of slid under the radar of a bunch of people. GTA 5 got its next gen counterparts really announced. Going to get it for the PS4, for the Xbox One, and the PC.
Yeah, what's interesting about the GTA 5 announcement was that for the trailer, for the first 5 or 6 seconds,
You didn't know
people
it was
didn't even know what
GTA.
it was. Yeah,
Right.
people were like, "What is this game? It's really pretty,"
Yeah,
and
the
they're like,
nature.
"Oh, it's GTA 5."
Yeah. I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna pick that up again or not. I played it pretty hardcore for about a month or so, and then a little bit of the online, and then I pretty much have just dropped it. I'm kind of burnt out on open world games. In all honesty, what else have you been playing besides the Destiny Alpha?
Well, going back to GTA 5 for a second,
Okay. We are
when
all scattered.
Sony said when Sony said you can even transfer your Xbox 360 save to the PS4,
Hmm.
I was like, shots fired. Like they
I mean,
actually called out Xbox
this
360.
is probably functionality attached to the Rockstar
Yeah, it's probably
online
Rockstar
cloud.
servers
Yeah.
that have everything to do with it. But the fact that they said it,
Yeah. It's just that's pretty good.
well, like every time before they made a jab, they'd be like, our competitors, wink, wink.
Hmm.
And this
No,
time
but
it's
they
like
actually
Xbox
mentioned him by
360.
name.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
but
mean,
let me go on.
it was like it doesn't. I don't know if they were as competitive this year as they've been before, because like during the Microsoft press conference, you have all these developers listing off their favorite games and like their subtitle when they were like being brought onto stage, and there's been some stuff that was cross company as well there.
Yeah.
So like well, it's not Kazurai. It was Shuei Yoshida did a bunch of talking for podcasts and stuff over that, and he's like, Sony loves competition and all that. So
Beyond.
yeah, beyond.
Beyond.
uh, did you? Oh no! What you should have seen, Greg Miller on the Giant Bombs like day 3 E3 wrap up.
hmm
Just go find that. It's pretty hilarious.
I didn't want to because it's like 4 hours long.
They're really good. Like you don't necessarily have to watch them, but if you just put them on the background, that's where I gotten quite a bit of info and stuff. But let's go back to
Okay, yeah.
before I do E3, so you've been playing Destiny. You also said Final Fantasy 14. Was
Yeah.
there new stuff that's going on for 14 right now?
They released the 2.2a patch last week, which
Hmm.
introduces the next highest level of your relic equipment and stuff like that. They, I mean, it wasn't too much that they released, but it's what it was. People were calling it, uh, what is it? Like quality of life patch. Like it's almost all the patch notes were quality of life improvements, which
Cool.
was great.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with improving the quality of life, especially when it comes to MMOs though, at least like reducing grind and things like that is always good. Uh, so let's see. Since like the radio show and stuff, I've been playing a lot of Payday.
Yeah, I
They
know.
were showing off a new heist at E3, and that came out yesterday, and it's really fun. And let's see, me and DJ did a double review for Wolfenstein, which was surprisingly good, and Watch Dogs, which I've been wholly underwhelmed with, and I am just like I said, burnt out on open world at the moment. So
I had a feeling that Watch Dogs was not going to live up to the hype,
yeah,
basically.
I was just surprised, and I was surprised how homogenized this game is. It's like the greatest hits of every Ubisoft game. There are buildings to climb, Assassin's Creed style. There are towers to climb, Far Cry style, to open up the map, and just there's light stealth to be had, very Splinter Cell
Yep.
way. It's just uh,
So Ubisoft the game.
pretty much, yeah. And it's just the most interesting stuff that's come out of the game so far has been the news this week about like the stuff that like modders have found in the code to reactivate E3, like
E3 2012.
yeah, explosions and stuff like, or rain and demos and stuff like that. It's just all signs point to Ubisoft intentionally gimping the PC version because they either didn't want to finish the work on it to make it look good, or they wanted to have greater visual parity with the console versions.
Yeah. Well, it, it seems like how do I word this? Most developers have been kind of giving PC versions of games and like a not optimized version. Like
Right.
they're not making the effort to port the games to PC correctly, or even like most games, as we know, are like made on PC, then ported to consoles, and then ported back to PC because the architecture is very similar now.
Right.
but it just seems like they're just not. I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, you saw a lot of superior PC ports at the end of the last console generation, which made sense because, like I said, looking at my 360 under my like computer right now, it's like 512 megabytes of RAM or something like that. And
Yeah.
just,
There's a
yeah,
huge disparity in hardware.
right. So making prettier PC versions of console games like a year or two ago, kind of a no-brainer. Now, like even still, most PCs still dwarf the power of an Xbox One or a PS4, but there's a smaller gap now between what there was before and then.
It's
But
just yeah, I mean it's just going to increase. Like the same pattern is going to happen, I assume, in the
right,
next 5 to 6 years. But
but
so that's what's happening.
yeah, yeah. It's I haven't gotten a review yet up on the side of Watch Dogs, mainly because I haven't finished it because I just sort of drolled out from boredom there. So maybe at some point I'll wrap it up, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyways, E3, back to it. So my favorite trailer I think that I saw was actually for, let's see if I get this all right, Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper
Oh
Edition EX
god.
Plus Alpha. That trailer was so great.
The Capcom Circle Jerk Dead Rising.
But just like
Yes.
Capcom like acknowledging just how ridiculous that their franchises are. Well, mainly Street Fighter for making
Well,
all these different editions. We're on what, the fourth edition of Street Fighter now? Of Street Fighter?
fifth.
Is it? Okay, I did. It was the arcade. I guess the
There's
arcade
Vanilla, then Super, then Arcade Edition, then Arcade Edition 2, and then Ultra. Yeah.
I didn't know about Arcade Edition too. Okay, but
Well,
yeah,
it's like Arcade Edition 2013.
and I think that just came out as DLC for like current gen consoles, and or maybe that's in September or something
No,
like that.
the virtual version of Ultra came out 2 weeks ago.
Right, and then there's a disc version that's coming out,
Out next month or the month after.
something like that. Yeah, and on PC as well. So it seems like it's been really well received so far. From
Well, I'm like,
most.
what else is Capcom doing? They released
Uh,
DLC for Dead Rising, and then they released Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is like virtually DLC for Street Fighter, but they haven't announced any games.
They're doing a PC version of Dead Rising 3. I'm looking through my massive list right now. Like, no, Capcom was pretty underrepresented in terms of E3. Square Enix also, like, the only thing I saw out of Square Enix this year was Tomb Raider, or Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is
Are you kidding me? I know all
a
about.
really
Okay.
dumb title, first off.
So they also announced the Final Fantasy Type 0 port to the West.
This is such a slap upside the head, mainly because, like, the fan translation group just got done.
Finished it, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you guys did that? That's real cute. Here's an HD version. See ya.
But to be fair, the HD version is only on Xbox One and PS4, not on PS Vita, which
Right.
was another kind of awkward moment because the bloggers that announced the game basically, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't an E3 announcement.
Nah, I mean, if it was, it didn't get any stage showing at all. So
They announced that it was like they announced on the blog that it was PS Vita, PS4, Xbox One. Just for one day later, they redacted that and said it will not be coming out on PS Vita.
why not on Vita? I'm confused.
I have no idea. Maybe it's
That-
because it's too pretty.
That seems really, really dumb to me. I like, people have been clamoring for that. Like, this is Square Enix talking about how, we're listening to the fans now, and we're going to try to get more in line with the things that they want, and they've been wanting this for a while because
I've been wanting it for a while.
it looks like an amazing game, and just
It looks alright.
it looks fun. Like,
And Square Enix also announced another kind of pseudo Final Fantasy game. I forget what it's called.
it's like a DS thing. People have been comparing it to like Monster
Gravity
Hunter.
Oh,
Is
wait,
what
no,
I've
this is like this was something else that had a lot more like Final Fantasy tropes in it.
I mean, we might just be thinking of two different things right there. Then I guess.
And then don't forget that they also announced Final Fantasy VII G-Bike.
I didn't see this. What is G-Bike?
G-Bike is the Final Fantasy VII motorcycle minigame for iPhone and Android.
They'll do everything except remake Final Fantasy VII. They'll pull out parts of it, and
Well, the funny thing about that announcement was yesterday they interviewed Square Enix, and Square Enix said we don't even know what G stands for.
Lol. But so yeah, you didn't see any more Kingdom Hearts. Didn't see any more 15 there, which
I
was
mean, did you
looks
really
so
need to
good.
see more?
I would have liked. I mean, we've been seeing bits of 15 and versus
Well,
13, whatever, for years
I
now. But
mean, that's been in development for 7 or 8 years now.
yeah, and I guess Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't get done because Tetsuya Nomura is going to be
On 15,
on 15 until that, or maybe they'll split them between the two. I don't know.
maybe.
It's so easy to just sort of tangent off this press conference stuff. So, do you know what Phantom Dust is?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so happy that
I am so upset.
Why?
That is like the one game that really piques my interest for Xbox One.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you
fair.
look at the announcement, they do not say that it's exclusive for Xbox One. I have a strong feeling it's going to come out on PC as well.
I would be so down for that. That would be fantastic. Nick Robinson over at Rev3 Gaming did this huge
Oh
prediction
yeah,
and like,
I saw that. He was like, "Bruh."
yeah, no, like I mean, I can vouch for this too. Like, it was me and a bunch of people from high school. We played the hell out of that game, and he literally did go out and buy copies for people. Like,
Well, that's not so hard since it was basically in every bargain bin in every store.
but now they're like on the rise. Now they did a live stream I think yesterday. He was showing off Phantom Dust, and they're like $45-50 on eBay. And I mean, I definitely picked up my copy from GameStop for like $10 when it was like used. I snatched that up.
Well, I'm
Still
sure
have mine.
that price point is not going to last very long since I mean it is an Xbox One, like first generation Xbox title.
I mean, yeah, but it's like it's out of print. It was a limited run sort of to begin with, like, and now if it is actually getting,
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
We'll see.
And plus, like Xbox in that generation, Xbox was the most widely hacked of the three systems. There's probably an ISO somewhere.
I don't know about. I mean, we're at the point now in terms of PC hardware and things like that that more and more PS2 I mean, PS1 ISOs were sort of like the thing for a while, and now there are a few PS2 ISOs. Mainly PSP is subject to a ton of piracy.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure. I guess if you really, really wanted to, you could probably find something like that out there. But
It was a really
yeah,
fun game. The art style, I don't know. It
it's
looked
out
like
there.
crap to me. It looked like everyone just looked so weird. Like they just needed to eat a sandwich or something. Was what
Yeah,
they looked like to me.
ridiculously skinny with the jeans and the yeah. Yeah,
But I'm
but
excited for that. Despite
yeah,
me
me
not,
too. I was that was my like highlight for the Microsoft press conference. I'm
yeah,
like,
and I don't know. Like everyone kind of knew it was going to be Phantom Dust when they said we have a new game that we haven't like we're bringing back from the dead for since Xbox One or first gen Xbox.
yeah.
So.
That's all good. Do you have any? Do you like Halo at all? Any your
I mean, I was into Halo. I see. I'm not to say that Halo was an annualized game, but it certainly felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like where you'd probably get like a 5 to 6 hour story part, and most of it was just there were a bunch of recycled maps and new. It just felt like extensions of the game before, so I didn't really play past 3.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's like really freaking out mainly for the remastered version of Halo 2 right now and the whole Master Chief Collection and all that. Like, I think it's cool, but I'm sort of done with Halo myself.
What bothered me about that announcement was, for one, you could tell that fanboy hysteria was most of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
But secondly, it's like they say it's Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 3, right?
And 4.
Oh, and
It's
sorry, there's a fourth, I forget.
yeah.
And Halo 4, but they're not including ODST.
I know ODST is my favorite. It's got the best music and best
You're all about
characters.
music now. It
Yeah,
doesn't have ODST or whatever the second one is that isn't a main series.
Reach is the other one.
Yeah, and it also doesn't have the isometric strategy game, which I was actually kind of fond of.
Halo Wars, yeah, it was not bad for a console RTS. Which
Yeah, I mean it wasn't terrible. It was far from perfect, but it was not bad. I would not say it was bad.
but it gives you all the numbered Halos so that you can play the. I mean, for me, in all honesty, this felt like a stopgap measure of no, you're not getting Halo 5 this year. We didn't technically say last year that you're going to get Halo 5. We just said that Master Chief's journey begins in
Okay,
2014.
so okay, to digress back to Destiny for a moment.
Sure.
I came to the realization that like I for some reason I compared that game to Halo, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
How so?
The alpha, because this is why, because it was a very, very small portion of the game
Oh God.
that had tons of replayability, except it was free.
Oh. So we're going to
And
bring this argument up again. So
it's an
yeah.
MGS5 Ground Zero. Whatever. You know my
So
opinion on that. It shouldn't. They,
okay, people don't know your position is pretty much Ground Zero's not worth the money, and I'm like Ground Zero's totally worth $20.
well,
And
see, but $20 because you probably play it on Xbox 360,
yeah.
but other people are probably going to play on PS4 and Xbox One, and which means it's $30, which means it's half the price of a game. Not to say that you have to have like,
A
um,
certain length or something for what you get,
but you just have like you have what feels like a portion of a game.
hmm yeah, no, I think Kojima's gone on to say it's like that the Phantom Pain is 200 times the size of like Ground Zeroes,
Just to
and if
make up
that's the
for it.
case, then like that's a great value. But
Yeah.
Ground Zeroes on its own, maybe a little less so.
Well, if you think about it like this, so Destiny kind of had this issue where people didn't exactly know what it was. People haven't really seen too much gameplay about it. They didn't know how they control. They didn't know how much of a Bungie legacy title is going to be. But then they just gave away the alpha for free, and they said play this for 4 days or 5 days because they extended it, and have fun and knock yourself out. And then they took it off. But Hideo Kojima, because uh, Phantom Pain is coming out next year, if not the year after, they said, here, we're going to give you this small portion of the game, but we're going to charge you money for it.
Yeah,
And I'm just, whatever.
it bugs you. I know.
Because
So,
my brother was about to go buy that game.
mhm,
Because he thought it was the next Metal Gear Solid 5.
it kind of is, but not all of it.
Well, yeah, it's like the prologue of.
Right. It's just the tanker to your big shell. But
Anyway,
okay.
sorry,
So
my rant.
so yeah, Halo Collection, super excited, or just like eh?
I mean, I'm whatever about it. I'm not any like if I was at someone's house, I'd play it. If not, whatever.
Pretty much,
What
yeah. I know DJ was pretty hyped on it, so.
Well, what worries me about it is that now that Bungie isn't in like handling the Halo series,
Hmm.
I feel like this is like it's what is it 343 that's making it?
343, yeah.
Well, I feel like it's 343 not exactly knowing how to do it themselves, so they're just pushing out Halo 1, 2, 3, 4 to make
Well,
money in
like
the meantime.
343 comprises of some Bungie alums, and like Halo 4 was. I'm sort of oscillating between how to talk about Halo 4 because it was a good game, like technically proficient, and the multiplayer was fun, but we sort of at the same time it sort of was like showed its age in a way because it hadn't really innovated, I guess, the way that a lot of shooters are. Like the big innovation I feel for a lot of multiplayer online shooters is to like mobility being a new big thing. That's
Well,
what
yeah, verticality.
Titanfall's. Yeah, that was like Titanfall's sell point. There's a little bit of that in Destiny as well with the super high jumps and
Yeah, I mean, well, in Destiny, even the PvP maps had verticality to them. So,
yeah,
like, I noticed that. I was like, oh, so they took a cue off of Titanfall.
right, not quite
But
that. But yeah, so I mean, here's hoping I guess that Halo 5 does something to add a little more than besides just the sprint button. Um, so yeah, like that'll come, and then you get the beta for I guess Halo 5 and all that, which is reminding me of
God,
how was Silent
betas.
Hill? What
I'm
was
so sick of the
Crackdown?
term
Crackdown,
betas.
that's right. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Crackdown.
Crackdown. The
Crackdown
re
had the Halo 3 beta, and then yeah, they have that was the thing after Phantom Dust is they're bringing back Crackdown.
which I was like,
Agility
whatever.
orbs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember going all going all up and down that city, getting all the power ups.
Yeah, that was incredibly like that was a lot of fun, especially in a pre-Assassin's Creed kind of world of just navigating and getting your jumps slightly higher.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, but eventually super higher.
hmm
I don't fly, I jump good.
Yep. So let's see. Next was Assassin's Creed Unity is what I got on this list now.
Oh, that's right. For Microsoft, that's right.
I mean, there was a bit there, and there was also some at the Ubisoft press conference as well. They showed off the cinema, they showed off the gameplay.
They didn't show any of Comet, right?
Of what? Oh no, they have
Assassin's
not
Creed
showed any
Comet.
of Comet at all yet. We just still
Okay.
have that code name. What's been interesting, I think, is that like everybody's like, oh yeah, it looks great, and the crowds look amazing, and all that. First, the like thing that bugs me, I guess, out of all the stuff I've seen, everybody, and this takes place in France. Everybody in that game has a British accent.
Oh yeah. They definitely kind of stepped away from the authenticity,
Yeah. I
where
mean,
like
they probably did that in 4, especially when you're like working for a video game company and all that, which is
well, in Assassin's Creed 4, it was set in the Mediterranean, not the Mediterranean, in the Caribbean Sea.
Caribbean. But they're all like, they acknowledge like, oh, this isn't accurate, but like we're making a video game, and so we want to,
Well, it
what would be
wasn't
most fun.
geographically to scale. That's what
Right.
bothered me. As a cartographer, it was not geographically. It took me all of 15 seconds to get from one side of the ocean to the other.
Like, maybe not so much.
That
Uh,
technology, though.
The other like thing that's like popped out for though is that there was an interview that went around talking about how it would be too expensive to make female assassins, and that everybody essentially is just playing clones of the main
It
assassin.
doesn't make any sense. They could eliminate most of the work with the female assassin that they already made.
Yeah,
Like they could
apparently,
just break it down and then put it back up.
I don't know. What they've gone on record saying is that just like doing animations again or something like that would just be
That's such
too
a
time consuming.
that's such a bullshit response. Since even in Assassin's Creed 4, they have several female assassins in the multiplayer.
Yeah, no, I'm with you all the way. I feel like it's a really weak reasoning considering that this is Ubisoft's flagship franchise. They, I think, reported having like more than 1,000 people working on it. It's
And they
multiple
can dedicate
studios.
a couple people, like
Yeah.
not a couple, but like a team of people to do that. I don't know.
Especially when it's like actually requested too. Like you can go to any news site right now, and they're going to be talking about how Ubisoft won't put female members in there, and then like in Far Cry 4, it was almost going to have a female protagonist, but they didn't do that in that game either.
Isn't the one of the like directors in it, like video game directors, isn't she like female?
Isn't she female? You talking about Jade Raymond? I think probably.
Sure, I don't know. I just remember that one of the head people at Ubisoft is female.
I guess. I believe Jade's still working on but I mean, I don't know. It could still be the whole sort of marketing thing about females on the boxes not selling as much or something. But
That's not even true.
no, it's not. It's
It's
never
not
have a good control environment to test that even. But that's why BioShock's original BioShock Infinite had its box art changed from having Elizabeth on the front to just Booker. But yeah, it was good that they had like a flip inside cover for that. Going over.
Yeah, very
Far-
artistic.
There was Far Cry 4 though that was shown a
Oh,
little
wait.
bit at Ubisoft and at Sony's. But oh, you want to go back? Okay.
Well, okay, no, the thing about Assassin's Creed was my short little blurb. So many people are excited about it. I just see that it's more of the same.
Pretty much. I did not pick up Assassin's Creed 4 myself. I was so like completely underwhelmed with Assassin's Creed 3. I'm just like the franchise needs to do something really new, like Ninjas or something. I don't know.
I don't understand why they would annualize a game like that. Like that game,
because it makes so much money.
I suppose, if they shove it down our throat.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, yeah, like it's gonna take, and you've seen this like with like Call of Duty now. It's gonna take a new iteration of that game selling less than the previous before you start seeing like a company diverge into a different, path. Like, Assassin's Creed 4 definitely sold more than 3.
Nintendo is doing it right with their first party stuff, but that's for later time.
Right. Did you see the Far Cry 4 stuff at
I did.
Sony? What do you think about that?
The antagonist was basically officially given his 15 seconds.
Yeah, he slaughtered his henchmen and all that, and took a selfie. He's crazy.
I don't care for these like maniacal villains.
I mean, I think it's maniacal with like hints of charisma. That's definitely what Voss had going for him in Far Cry 3.
Well, I come from a world where the OG maniacal villain that had charm was Kefka from Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, and that's just pretty much wants to blow up the world for no damn reason, other than
Yeah,
it would be funny.
hit.
Yeah. I like it. It does feel like it's a little bit too much of a rehash. The game, like what they showed off, looks pretty, like
It
very
does. It
pretty.
does look pretty good.
And Sony announcing that friends will be able to do co-op without having to own the game.
It's like the PS4 is a DS or something.
Well, I mean, what they said on the stage and the actuality of it is a little bit less. What ends up happening is that when you get the game, you have, I think, like 30 codes to give out to people, and they can use it to download a small portion of the game to play certain sections that are co-op.
Yeah, I mean that's what I expected it to be.
Yeah, so it's kind of like giving out like demo codes, and hopefully then they'll go out and buy it. So
I mean,
it's
that
still
seems
cool.
fine
to
to
get,
me,
and it's only on the PlayStation 4 version apparently.
yeah.
So that's
I mean, that seems perfectly fine to me because it's one thing to give someone a demo, it's another thing to give someone a demo and let them enjoy it with a friend.
yeah, and like some of the stuff they were showing was pretty cool. With like the little mini helicopter and rampaging elephants, and there you go, PETA. You got your next thing to. Yeah.
I mean, it looked really fun. I wouldn't buy it. It's not my kind of game, but if it ever came across like my lap or anything, I'd put it in and play it.
Far Cry 3 was like a really nice surprise from the last generation. I'm going off like DJ, like this paves the way towards Blood Dragon 2 being a thing. So
I hope not.
Oh,
not
no.
not to say that I didn't like Blood Dragon. I just don't want them to try to cash into the same thing. I want them to do something else that's equally unique.
I mean, sure, if it's not like specifically Blood Dragon 2, but they do something with that engine and that landscape that's
Yeah, exactly.
kind of like a wacky tangent again, like I'd be down to check that out as well. So yeah, it's cool to be able to see them take assets and repurpose them into smaller projects.
hmm
Let's see. Let's do other Ubisoft stuff. Division. We have Return of Slamming the Car Door. So,
I'm excited for Division. I don't know what it is about it, but it definitely has piqued my interest since
looks
last
like
year.
third-person shooter modern day Destiny now by this point. Like I feel like it's trying to go for some of the same trappings.
Maybe that's why I like it so much because I prefer to play third-person shooters.
Okay, cover-based and all that.
Yeah, like Uncharted and the like.
I mean, like I feel like this is really far off, and if there's anything like Ubisoft stuff that they like, Watch Dogs has taught me pretty much is that I need to sort of temper my expectations when it comes to these new IP kind of stuff. So
Well, Ubisoft is becoming the new EA.
yeah, it's kind of funny looking at this. I feel like Ubisoft had a stronger showing this year than EA, whereas EA was showing off these more perspective, like sort of out there things. I don't know.
Hardline.
I need to see more stuff, I guess, of Division before I can really make any good judgments. They got rid of Rainbow Six Patriots, and now it's Rainbow Six The Siege. So
That also looks. It looks like what I wanted Battlefield Hardline to be.
yeah,
Is that what it's called? Like the whole cops versus robbers, but it seems so much better than Hardline. It seemed like what I wanted was Payday, but versus mode.
yeah. So got into the Battlefield Hardline beta as soon as they announced that. I signed up for it, and I played a few hours of it, and it's pretty rough right now, in all honesty. Granted, I have not played Battlefield since like Battlefield 2, like Bad Company, but I was getting killed, and I didn't understand why. But there was some interesting takes on sort of like this sort of shared capture the flag kind of thing going on with money, but I don't know. Like, I need to see more stuff to that game right now before I feel like it's a $60 offering.
But this isn't their attempt to annualize the series, though.
It's not. No, see, there's something really despicable and dirty though about this because Battlefield 4 is still broken.
Yeah.
Like, it's still not up to snuff in terms of what you consider an online shooter, and its multiplayer is still inferior to Battlefield 3. And now they're trying to sell you on a new one before they even like fix the old one.
Yeah, that's hooray.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Oh, EA.
Yeah, like just EA was showing off all these like little snippets of things that, like,
Go home, you're drunk.
I don't know, like Kickstarter has showed us that greater company transparency is a good thing. Like being able to see stuff as it gets made is good. It won't like
But Kickstarter has its own kind of issues. It's a whole different beast, though.
right, and whereas like this is just like I wanted some more finished stuff. I don't want just like seeing the textures of the next Mass Effect armor or how small Criterion Studios is now and their racing, flying, whatever game.
I completely agree. I am tired of, well, I'm tired of these announcements for announcements.
Announcements, yeah.
Like, we're going to give you this little image or these two little images, and come back in 2 months. We'll show
Like
you 3 more.
it was a whole year ago that we got the like 30-second teaser of Star Wars Battlefront, and now what do they show a whole year later? Here's a snowspeeder, here's a stormtrooper helmet, no like gameplay. It's just like here's our artists, they're working, guys. They're like believe us, they're working. Um, yeah, EA I think probably had the weakest press conference out of everybody.
I could see that, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I feel like I mean like Ubisoft for like showing off, the expected Assassin's Creed and all that stuff. And
Ubisoft, the one announcement everyone wanted and they didn't give.
what? Which one? The
When they said we're bringing back this series, here you go, it's Siphon Filter. Everyone
I
wanted.
don't think Ubisoft. No, Siphon Filter's not Ubisoft.
Well,
It's Sony.
okay, well, whatever it was, they said that, or they said something that was not Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah, no, that's been like. I mean, like you might as well like list off the stuff that definitely was not there. There was no Beyond Good and Evil 2.
There was no Last Guardian.
No Last Guardian, no Fallout 4, just like all these things like. But I mean, we sort of got to get over that. It's just how it is. Valiant Hearts, I think, was pretty cool to see. That's another
Really depressing.
it looked really. I don't know how you're gonna gamify the horrors of World War One, but I leave it to the French to try.
Well, it had a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what's gonna happen to that dog.
I mean, everybody was saying what was gonna happen to the dog in Call of Duty Ghosts, and it didn't. The dog got away and lived.
Well, that's because everyone was saying was threatening him.
Yeah, but yeah, like I'm a little less hopeful for this dog, and but it looks like a great game. Yeah, like it's another thing just showing that the UbiArt engine is like really cool.
Rayman looked really good. Child of Light looked really good. I'm sure this is going to look.
It was an exercise game that actually looked kind of fun-ish, and they had the French guy go against the English guy.
DDR without the DDR pad.
Yeah, but it looked, I don't know, it looked fun. I don't know.
It looked, well, one of the issues with exercise games is that you had to have some sort of hardware medium in order to make them work, but with this, presumably everyone's going to have the Kinect.
Yeah, or a camera or something.
That's not going to be the case anymore, really.
I mean, it's so weird though, because like Sony had the opposite problem though, whereas like nobody could find the camera, mainly because of the Twitch functionality that was built in and all that. But
yeah, that went crazy. But I mean, that's just like a marketing issue. I feel like they are purposefully they're stagnating the release of the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Still, when I'm sure that the camera is the same way. They have plenty. They're just only releasing them to keep the demand up.
What do you think about the host that we had this year for the press conference? I'm kind of warming up to Aisha Tyler, honestly, even if whatever a 420 joke, but still.
I like Aisha Tyler to death.
Uh-huh.
But I just feel like I'm so over it now. Like it was like Girl Wood.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like this is the third year now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of over it.
I did like seeing Shuhei Yoshida on Sony's press conference, which I guess we transfer into that now. He did the intro for Bloodborne, which I got super pumped for. The Project Beast.
I didn't. The trailer doesn't really show too much.
It doesn't show any gameplay. It's all pre-rendered. You can go. Like I said, there were the gifts of the Project Beast leak. Those are out there. There is some off-screen footage of. I don't know how they got the camera in, but of they were showing behind closed doors to the press of what Bloodborne actually plays like.
Well,
So
Colin Moriarty from IGN, he said that it's one of the issues that he had with Dark Souls and Demon Souls 2 was that the combat was just a little too sluggish.
hmm
But apparently in Bloodborne, it's not fast, like it's not Devil May Cry or anything.
it's
just
faster though.
faster. Yeah, it's a bit. It's like you're not just lugging around all your equipment everywhere. You actually are moving briskly and stuff.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely like what I have seen so far. There is definitely a larger amount of speed and more emphasis played on like dodging as opposed to blocking, but it's still very much in the like Souls like
Yeah,
vein. Pretty much, it is a spiritual successor more or
and
less.
it's a PS4 exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really really smart of them to lock that up like a year ago while Dark Souls 2 was being made, and it explains what Miyazaki's been doing in his time since. Like they instantly went out and just got the entire Souls fan base right there to basically go pick up a PS4. Like I am going to pick up a PS4 by next year mainly to play that game.
My friend John Michael, I asked him if they announced Demon Souls 2, which everyone was thinking was Demon Souls 2 back then.
I mean, more or less, this is Demon Souls 2, but not like
spiritual successor to because From Software made Dark Souls and Demon Souls, so
yeah.
There you go.
Like this is all in that same sort of vein, more or less. But like it looks good, and
I
there's
didn't
anything
get
Souls
excited
fans
for it.
want, right? Souls fans just want more Souls and stuff like that. Like they were showing off some of the DLC that also got announced like a week or so ago for Dark Souls 2, and I'm excited for that. Probably try to get that into some of the like Let's Play that I'm doing of it right now.
Well, I played Demon Souls on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
Then, like a year later or whatever, it came out on Xbox 360.
Demon Souls never came out on. You're talking about Dark Souls.
Oh, Dark Souls. Yeah, sorry. Dark Souls came out on 360 and PS3, and then Dark Souls 2 came out. But for those two, it just looked like more of the same. It didn't convince me enough to get it. But now I have fallen to the hype, fallen subject to the hype, and I'm all about some Bloodborne right now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like tonally, like Bloodborne is falling more in line with the original Demon Souls of being pretty dark, which is weird to say of Dark Souls not being dark. Like Dark Souls 2, I guess, was not dark, but whatever. It looks very sort of Van Helsing-y kind of fun,
Not so Dark Souls.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I'm excited for that. We're in Sony's press conference now, so Order 1886 got shown off a little bit. A lot of cinematic, not a lot of gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty. Everyone knows it's pretty. 1886 is a game that is going to be made to look pretty so that you can see the difference between the hardware of the Xbox One and the PS4. They haven't showed too much. This has a female character in it.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. But I like cover-based shooters. I hope that they don't try to like shove in a multiplayer thing that is just so.
I haven't heard any word for multiplayer. I don't see them doing it mainly because like I'm getting flashbacks to Resident Evil 4 mainly because of the black bars that are top and bottom right there. And I know why they're doing that. It cuts down on the resolution. There's less thing to have to render, and they can make the game look prettier. That's the reason why. Don't listen to anything saying about cinematic experience or whatever. It's just.
But it looks like a movie though.
Oh come on, that's the biggest like. Anybody trying to defend that? It's just
a very PR.
Yeah.
Response.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to see like more gameplay of that. Like I've heard from like people that went to go look at it before E3 that it was looking pretty rough, but now that it looks a lot better. But the transitions that it does between going out of gameplay and into gameplay, if that is how it actually goes, looks fantastic.
I could see it being like that. Uncharted was very similar. Not to say that Naughty Dog's making it, but they had the backing of Sony, and so they probably did have some knowledge to share.
Little Big Planet 3 also got announced.
I was excited for that. Not because I'm a huge fan of Little Big Planet, but because the PS4 doesn't really have much in terms of party games.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of them there. You can play multiplayer. I think they sort of swept this under the rug a little bit, too, that this is also coming out on PS3.
Yeah. They announced that after the fact, though.
Yeah, and you can play apparently all the Little Big Planet 1 and 2 maps on there as well. So
Little Big Planet 2, you could do the same thing for Little Big Planet 1.
Hmm.
But one of the things about Little Big Planet 3's showing on the Sony conference was that was probably the most sincere
Hmm.
demo that I've ever seen. Like everyone was like messing up here and there, and it actually like
I
you could
saw
tell that it wasn't.
so much criticism for the people that were like missing jumps and stuff like that. Apparently, like and I can believe there's just a huge amount of latency from actually using the controller on the show floor
As a
and to that.
as a fighting gamer,
Yeah,
as someone who play, I know all about latency. So
yeah.
yeah, I can tell you that 1/60th of a second latency can mess up some stuff.
I'm sure this is probably more like an actual good like half a second or something like for something like that
That's
maybe.
still like half a second. That's a 30 frame per second latency.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, more Little Big Planet's always a good thing. So, but it's not Media
Or that's
Molecule that's like working on it this time. Or
yeah,
it's
it's
actually
it's someone else.
a different studio. Yeah. Um, okay, now I'm sort of like ramshackled outside of the typical press conference stuff. Yeah, there was the Batman stuff, which looks very pretty.
There's a tank.
It is a tank. Um, let's see, Advanced Warfare, the new Call of Duty that had showing at Microsoft. It looked like more the grenades have jetpacks.
The
That's all I
grenades
got.
have jetpacks.
Okay, the grenades have jetpacks.
Do the dogs have
Uh,
jetpacks?
I didn't see any Broco dogs
Can
or anything there.
can the dogs throw grenades that have jetpacks?
There you go. I
Well,
think the dogs are grenades
from
with
what I heard, it was, let's see, it's a realistic shooter that takes place in the future.
like 50 years or something like that. It takes place further than Black Ops 2 did. It's not in the same. It's got Kevin Spacey. That's about the only reason I'm really going to play it is to see digital Kevin
Okay,
Spacey.
so House of Cards.
Yeah. House of COD. Yeah, okay.
House of
Yeah.
Cards. That's
Kevin Spacey's great. Um,
okay. When they showed when that got leaked, the cutscene where you saw Kevin Spacey being rendered in the,
democracy. Yeah.
you could not like. It took me 3 hours for confirmation that that was Kevin Spacey. Like I knew that like, I was like, is this fucking Kevin Spacey?
Yeah. No, it definitely was. I mean, yeah.
I was so
Um,
excited.
let's see, Mortal Kombat 10 got a showing at Sony's press conference.
Okay, from a competitive point of view, Mortal Kombat 10 seems to be
Oh,
taking
I'm sorry, it's not 10. I'm sorry. In Mortal
X,
Kombat X. My
sorry,
bad.
X, Mortal Kombat X. 'Cause it's 10 because 9 was the last one.
Right.
Mortal Kombat X is taking basically the entire engine from Injustice, which was an incredibly well received NetherRealms fighting game,
Yeah.
which is very like I was not expecting that game to do very well because I mean, let's just be honest, the Mortal Kombat games haven't really been all that in a bag of chips. They,
Uh, yeah. Before 9, like 9 was really really good.
nine was a very good leap in the right direction, but before
Right.
that, you had like 8 was mess.
No, yeah, there was
Versus,
they were sort of yearly sort of kind of things where yeah. But anyways, yes. So keep going.
they are readapting the Injustice.
A lot more
Uh,
environmental stuff. And,
there's the environmental stuff. There is more characters. Like the EX animations even look the same as they do in Injustice. EX being you consume a bar of meter to do a better special attack.
no,
I mean,
I mean, yeah, it'd be silly for them not to build off of the stuff.
the new characters look really good.
Okay.
Like
And
I
we've
have
seen
never.
a total of 4, I think, as new characters. Is that?
Yeah, there is Sonya had a baby with what Luke Cage? No, not Luke
Something
Cage,
like
the black
something
guy.
like that. Sonya K. Yeah, something like that. Like let's
With the movie star guy.
yeah
With
yeah Johnny Cage had a kid.
and there's some girl that's a like wasp insect kind of thing.
There's a bug lady. Then Nunu's in there or female Nunu.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a giant with a midget on it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is I don't know who the fourth character is, but I know that they got
Somebody blue, I think.
yeah some dude. But what's interesting about the way that this game is going to work is instead of, 'cause, I mean, in the Mortal Kombat games, some of them like Annihilation and Deadly Alliance, they have different fighting styles. Like you can swap between styles, like two
All
different.
right, I think they're doing that again for this, right?
Well, in this game, it's not as it's you can't do it in the middle of a fight. When you choose your character, you choose your style, and the different styles have different special attacks.
So this is more like there's a Capcom game I'm thinking of here where you pick your different grooves.
Alpha.
No, well, yeah, there's Alpha.
Alpha
I'm
3.
thinking, or no, I'm thinking of Street Fighter versus SNK, maybe.
Oh well, yeah, yes. Capcom versus SNK.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
I mean, Melty Blood does something similar.
Yeah, Melted Blood has like 6 variations of characters and stuff. Which
Yeah,
is
there's like half moon, full moon, who the new moon, who the hell else knows what else.
I've only played that once, but that was fun.
But to put it into perspective, there is one character like the Nunu, which is the giant and the midget. The midget rides on the giant's back. One of the styles is like he just kind of throws the midget out and has more range with the midget. The second style is the midget basically attacks the giant to get like it deals damage to the giant, but the giant is stronger. Like it's kind of a sadism.
Enrages. Yeah, I got you.
And the style.
Sorry, keep going.
The third style is the midget isn't there and the guy just plays by himself.
Interesting. Yeah, like so that could be really good or really bad. Like
I like this direction. Injustice was good. I loved the direction NetherRealm was going with Injustice, and now they're making a Mortal Kombat game that I might even buy, which I could not say that for the last few years.
Let's see, people over at for Killer Instincts were showing off some of the Season 2 character stuff. I know TJ Combo's in there, and this is being done by Iron Galaxy now. The group that was doing that originally made Killer Instinct. I think they're working on Phantom Dust now.
Well, the new character for DJ Combo, is that his name?
TJ Combo.
TJ Combo. He doesn't fit with the world in my opinion.
I mean, he is a classic Killer Instinct fighter, so he's just sort of a relic of the 90s in all honesty.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, they've taken a lot of these characters and given them like visual upgrades to fit with the art style.
So does he still? He doesn't look like Mike Tyson anymore, or?
I mean, he looks just like that. He looks so out of his element.
Okay, so he just doesn't look like this.
That was just my only criticism. Like, they could have given him a legacy costume.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Killer Instinct looks is really fun. It's really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not. It's important that they give it like continuous updates, periodic updates, because I don't feel that it would be. It's not one of the top games.
Mm-hmm. By far. You think with this slow, almost MOBA-like schedule of releasing new characters, do you feel like it will ever like get into the competitive scene eventually?
Well, Killer Instinct is in the competitive scene. It's just one of the minor titles. Like, you have majors and then you have minors.
Well, do you think it'll go to the majors then?
I don't think so. I think it's already been relegated to minors, and the fact that it's only on one console that's on the next-gen console means that less people have access to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see it becoming a huge game, but people are going to play it just like people still play Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
But Injustice is on every console, so that kind of helps that out.
Gotcha. Let's keep going down the list. Dead Island 2 got a release trailer, and this is weird because it's WB doing it right now, while Deep Silver is still doing, I think, Dying Light is the parkour zombie killing game.
What game? Dead Island. Dead Island. Yeah. Okay. That trailer was the same as GTA 5, and then no one knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah. I was almost sure it was a Dying Light trailer, but it was like, no, Dead Island 2. Okay. So.
Hopefully it's not as bad as Riptide.
Dragon Age 3, which is coming out this year, got a showing. Yeah, I think that was at EA's press conference, actually. It was pretty cool looking.
I'm a sucker for RPGs. I love some RPGs.
Same here.
I never played Dragon Age 2, mostly because everyone told me not to buy it.
Definitely wouldn't have bought it at full price. The game is too repetitive for that. But it has really good characters. It's like still good BioWare like writing. If you can find that game, and actually I think Steam sales start up tomorrow. You might be able to find that cheap.
Well, I don't get paid until next week, so I'm probably gonna miss out on a lot unless I beg Michael for money. Oh wait, I just got $20. I can do this.
You're about to say you can do a bunch for $20 actually for Steam sale. I think Steam sales typically last more than a week, so you might.
Well, I mean, I might miss out on a sale type thing.
Yeah.
And not every sale comes back on the final day.
That's true. But
back on what were we talking about?
Dragon Age 3.
Dragon Age 3. Another issue. It looks really good. I'm really excited for it. I'm probably going to get it. I'm probably going to get Dragon Age 2 before that comes out, just so I can, because I don't like skipping games.
Yeah, no, if you played 1, 2 definitely has events that, like, you won't understand. Well, I mean, you could probably guess, but to understand why Dragon Age 3's subtitle is the Inquisition, you need to figure out what causes the uprising
Well,
for to get
if I
inquisitive.
were to be completely honest,
Yeah.
one of the major reasons I did not get Dragon Age 2 was because I found out that Morrigan was not in the game.
Oh well, there you go. Morgan's back in Dragon Age 3.
Yeah, but Morgan's back in Dragon Age 3, and I'm
There,
like,
there, there are still a bunch of really good characters besides just
I
Morgan.
just feel like I don't know why she has such a control over me, but I know that her mother is in the game.
Oh yeah, and she's voiced by Kate Mulgrew, and she's fantastic. Oh, have you watched? This is such a really weird random tangent. Orange is the New Black season 2
Yes,
came.
I watched that
I,
so fast.
Same here, and God, Kate Mulgrew is still amazing in that show.
It's so I could talk about that show. Someone posted on Facebook what it was clickbait. It said Orange is the New Black season 3 canceled because Netflix wants to step away from cringy titles. And I clicked it and I got rickrolled. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, no, there's no way. Like, I mean, it was so highly reviewed from everywhere I've seen so far.
Well,
But that's a podcast for another time. We or something
yeah,
like that.
it's if you did not like Weeds,
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, this is a Genji Kohan show all the way through.
yeah,
Like,
but it's not as bad as Weeds was.
that's debatable.
No, I mean Weeds made me angry. I stopped watching it.
I mean, there are definitely different parts of that show that, yeah, we're on the downhill, like on the downslope. This
Okay,
definitely has like a higher. Anyway, yes, you're right.
anyway.
Payday 2 showed off its big bank heist. That came out yesterday. It's really good. If you
I
like
wish
Payday.
someone would buy it for me so I could play with them.
Steam sale probably will have a cheap copy of Payday 2. There was a free weekend actually like 2 weeks ago, and you could have
I
gotten
mean,
it.
I played a free weekend with you a few months
That's
ago.
right. That's
So.
right. You did. Yeah. So I don't know. I'll keep an eye out and I'll see if I can get you a cheap copy of it or something. Let's go to Nintendo's press conference because that was a pretty big surprise. You didn't get to see it though because it wasn't actually a press conference. It was a Treehouse live stream or whatever.
Yeah, and I was also at work, so because it was in the morning.
But you did go back and look at least like the Smash stuff, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
did. I even watched the tournament thereafter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I heard the tournament actually was pretty good.
From my perspective,
Mm.
since I got my first game into the competitive scene for fighting games was Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Mhm.
Then I played Brawl, and I switched over to Street Fighter because Brawl was. I mean, I'm just gonna say Brawl was garbage. Competitively, Brawl was pretty. It was really slow, really floaty, not as fun.
Right.
Super Smash Bros. 4 looks to have fixed the majority of that,
Mm-hmm.
but it still looks like more of the same. Like it still looks like a lot of friends I had are saying like it looks so good, it's great, it's the best Smash Bros. It's like I get the same feeling of people who go crazy over the new iPhone that I see for this. Like people are already very very devoted Smash Brothers players, and they're not going to say anything bad even if Brawl comes out.
Okay, so it's basically for Smash fans, but you don't know if it's going to bring in new people. I mean, it definitely looks like it's more competitive than Brawl was with
Yeah.
having the For Glory mode and all that. Uh, so,
Go on.
well, okay. How do you, Mii Fighter? How is that gonna work in the competitive scene, especially with all the different variations that you can have?
How many are there?
There are three. There is Swordsman, there's Brawler, and then there's Gunner, and
Yeah.
there are 12 different special move variations on each of them. So you can have up
Uh-oh, you cut
to.
out.
Yeah, it's pausing. I think you're catching up.
There are 12 what?
There are 12 different special variations, like I think they're like variations on the B attack or something like that.
Okay. Well, from what I know about fighting games, it's not going to happen. Like those are going to be banned characters because
Um,
normally characters like that are not well polished.
mhm.
Like they are typically very easy to exploit. Like to go back to like Soul Calibur for instance. Soul Calibur has a Creative Soul, which is practically the same thing.
Okay.
The Creative Souls are banned.
Mhm.
They were banned in Soul Calibur 4. I'm not sure about Soul Calibur 5 because I never got into it because they didn't have one of my characters in it.
That's kind of weird too, because I mean, in Soul Calibur 3 at least, they had unique move sets that were not available to other like characters. They were essentially their own character. But anyways,
Yeah, but those were like anything that's like a creative character is banned because
uh,
one of the other things is sometimes because it takes your me and kind of attaches it.
hmm
There's some usually when it comes to things like that, your me might change the hitbox for your character, therefore making the variables of whether it's good or not even greater.
I mean, it looks like it's just bringing in the Mii's head. I think the body types all stay the same.
I don't
I
know.
mean, like I guess the only way that would really work is that if in For Glory you didn't have the move set customization, it was just like default move sets for Gunner, Swordsman, and Brawler.
Yeah,
And
if they had just the three, I could see it being legal because it's not there aren't too many variables. Because the other thing is you have to learn matchups,
right,
and whenever you have that many variations on basically what is one character, it
mhm,
makes it that much harder to prepare against them.
gotcha.
So if there were just the three, the gunner, the swordman, and whoever else,
hmm
I could see it still being legal. But if it's 12, I'm pretty sure this is how it's going to happen when it comes out. When it comes out, everything's going to be legal because it's the new hotness.
Right.
3 months down the road, people are going to complain. They're going to get banned, and that's it.
Yeah, because Nintendo doesn't really do balancing patches for Smash officially or anything like that. So, Palutena also got announced, which the internet kind of exploded just
Wait,
because that was rumored for
I
so
thought that
long.
Palutena did it. What is she a character?
She is a character.
Oh God, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was at the very end. It was like an anime segment,
Well,
and
that's pretty exciting because I was already excited for Rosalina.
yeah. I think that has rounded out most of the cast, though. Oh yeah, no, Pac-Man is also in the game
So
as
now you
well.
have Pac-Man, Mega Man, Sonic, and Mario all in the same game, which is like every old school
all the 80s
gamer.
and 90s, yeah,
Jesus, like
yeah,
this is what the 80s and 90s has been building up to.
pretty much, yeah. that match there in particular. Um, there was some other stuff that they were showing off too. They pushed back the release date for the 3DS version to like August or September, maybe October, something like the fall now.
That's fine. I don't enjoy the fact that they're releasing it on 3DS first, but I understand why they would because whatever they say, if they release both the 3DS version and the Wii version at the same time,
They'll just cannibalize their own sales.
yeah, exactly. So you just explained it right there.
Yeah,
So
so they have to space it out. Uh, yeah, there was some other stuff. There was a new Yoshi. There was a new Kirby. Both look ridiculously cute. One of them is with yarn. The other's with clay.
I'll probably like to play both of them.
Yeah.
I don't know about buying them, but
Explorer Toad's getting its own thing, which was a Super Mario 3D Land or 3D World thing. So that looks cute. New Zelda footage from Amura showing off the world. It looks very cel shady.
oh my gosh, that
Looks very pretty.
it was so serene.
Yeah,
But then all of a sudden, shit hit the fan.
exploding monsters and then very
It's so
feminine Link on a
pretty.
horse. Yes, it's
Like
very.
this is what Nintendo does super. Like this is what Nintendo should have been doing since the Wii U got released. Because
Mhm.
we know that they know how to maximize the potential for their hardware. Because the Wii had some really, really pretty games like Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah.
That game was beautiful, and it was like on a piece of hardware that wasn't all that great.
hmm No, it was definitely like sort of behind the system stuff. You're super wobbly, I gotta say.
I'm sorry, my legs are shaking. This is on my
Yeah,
leg.
it's like that, or it's like an earthquake in your house. Um, yeah. So there was also like, what do you think of the new like Link design that you get to see for a few seconds that showed? Some people were saying it might actually be a girl. I think
No, it's
Amuro.
not a girl. She's
Yeah.
not to say that a girl has to have be sexualized, like have breasts in order to be a girl, but I think personally I think that the Twilight Princess Link looked more like a female than this Link did,
Uh huh.
but
I think
apparently
it'd be interesting to have a female Link for.
I would love to be able to play as Zelda.
Oh well,
and-
then you gotta go play Hyrule Warriors.
the le- oh, You get to play as Zelda's bodyguard in
Impa.
Hyrule Warriors. Yeah,
And Minda is also confirmed for that game as well.
Midna.
She's the dark elf thingy that was in
Yeah,
Twilight Princess. Yeah,
Midna.
Midna. Yeah. Um,
But from what I could tell, it's basically
it's Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors with a skin that is Legend of Zelda. I mean, that's fine. I like Dynasty Warriors. I like Samurai Warriors. So
I'm hoping that there'll be some good music that comes out of that, but that's all I ever hope for.
no, if it's Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, it's just going to be nothing but hard rock.
Well, give me some Hard Rock Zelda remixes then, because it's all Zelda music that what we've heard so far. Did you see the stuff for the amiibo that they? Do you know what?
Oh, that's
The figurine?
the Infinity thing.
Yeah, for Nintendo, but it looks like it's going to be cross-game compatible.
That looks really good, mostly because you do not have to buy an extra peripheral for it. It works off the gamepad.
That's fantastic, and I think you will have to buy a base though for the 3DS if you want to use it on your
Yeah,
3DS.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
but
It was really strange to see its functionality in Smash of just like, oh, okay, you're just gonna tag out and have the AI fight each other. I mean, when you break it down, that's what it is. If you have a figurine, I have a figurine, we've trained them up or whatever because they can get experience
it's
and all that.
Pokemon.
It's watching AI fights though. It's
Pokemon.
Okay.
Okay,
I don't know.
it's how about it's not Pokemon. It is I don't know. It's Pokemon.
Mhm.
You just
Uh,
I mean, you just pick a character and take them out.
I totally forgot this on the list. Did you see the stuff for Splatoon?
No.
Oh, Splatoon looks really cool. This is like a new IP that they're working on. It's paintball fighting, but instead of trying to shoot each other, you're like painting the map in order to gain territory. The characters are all sort of designed to be these like Squid Girl kind of things. So after you've painted some of the map, you can dive into the paint that's your color of your team and move around and sneak up behind the enemy and like shoot
It's
them.
really clever.
It looks super cute and like really fun. So
I could see that being really, really fun.
yeah, no, you should look up some footage after this. It looks really, really cool. And Codename Steam. Did you get to see any of that?
No.
This
I
is
heard about it, but I
this is
did
a
not.
Intelligent Systems new game that they're working on. The people behind Fire Emblem. It's a sort of XCOM kind of thing, but with a few third-person shooter elements with American comic book stuff added to it and steampunk. It's really hard to describe, but it looks interesting. I will say this: one of the things I was really glad to see after the Nintendo's Treehouse stream was that they were hosting their own like streams event for the rest of E3, and they were showing off a lot of gameplay. Like they had a bunch of different people
Oh
come
yeah,
and play.
not so much pre-rendered stuff.
Yeah, like playing a lot of Smash Brothers. They were doing a bunch of 2-minute matches of that.
Well, I mean, they even had a tournament for it. Like they actually got professional. One of the issues I had with that stupid tournament was that items were on.
Mhm.
Items and hazards were on, which I'm just like, so I don't know. Like as a competitive gamer, that's a whole other issue. But
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo, I would see. I don't know. I would say Nintendo won E3,
Mhm.
but I don't know whether to say that or not because I was expecting so little from Nintendo.
Yeah.
that
No.
I don't know.
A lot of people were saying that they did win. They delivered on like a few things that were really interesting. I don't know if they're gonna sell a lot of Wii U's or something after this, but
I'll tell you one thing.
what?
I'm getting a Wii U.
Oh, really? What for?
This E3 sold me
Okay, just on everything.
for almost everything. Like, especially like Mario Kart 8. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
granted,
that's
that came
been
out a
getting
week
really good
before it.
reviews lately. Yeah, I mean, I do want to like play some of the stuff that's been shown off there right now. Mario Maker actually looks kind of cool.
Well, like I said before, the PS4 doesn't really have much as far as party games are concerned.
Hmm.
But I feel like the Wii U is a completely legitimate purchase because it has like it doesn't have the same kind of games. So you're not going to have that overlap like
I
the
yeah,
enjoyed by
no,
Xbox One.
I mean that's sort of a perspective kind of thing. It doesn't because third parties won't touch the Wii U right now. Everything that's coming out on the Wii U is essentially a first party game, and that's fine.
That's
They're
fine.
like, but like if that was your only console, you would probably be missing out. Like you wouldn't get to play Destiny, for example. You wouldn't get to play
Exactly.
Final Fantasy stuff, or some of the other
But
offerings that are third party, or even Ubisoft's wonderful. Like even Ubisoft's not making stuff for it anymore right now.
well, I was looking for. I've been looking for a reason to get a Wii U because I love Bayonetta.
Oh yeah, Bayonetta 2. That's right. They showed off Bayonetta 2. Comes with the original Bayonetta right now with the.
Only if you buy it on disc, not if you buy because it comes with the. If you buy it on disc, it comes with the code
Go to
download.
download.
But if
Yeah.
you buy the virtual version, it doesn't come with the code.
Well, then just buy the real because Bayonetta 1's still a fantastic game.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, I have so many good feelings about that game.
Oh, Platinum also. I don't know which press conference it was, but they showed off a new. Something with Dante and dragons and headphones and I don't know. But
Oh yeah, it was the Microsoft.
no, yeah, but I can't remember what it's called.
I don't remember either, but it
I mean, I
mean,
feel like there was a lot because there's stuff that were totally glazed. Like Suda51 also showed off something at Sony. It was,
Scalebound.
Scalebound was that was the new Platinum thing. Suda51's new
Let It Die.
Let It Die. Yeah, it looks like some sort of multiplayer
Die?
shooter. I still don't know enough about that, but I want it's a Suda51 joint. So
You were the first person I thought about when I saw that Suda51.
good because I really like Killer 7. Let's put it like that. Like I didn't hear good things about Killer is Dead, but I might pick that up if it's on sale. I never had a chance to play No More Heroes or No More Heroes 2, and I wanted to. But yeah. Okay,
And
that's
it's
what
exclusive.
Huh? Yeah. Well, I bet I've already clarified I'm getting PS4 because of Bloodborne. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just icing on the cake.
yeah. Is there any other stuff for E3? Just because we've been doing this for almost more than an hour now, almost two, I think.
There was one thing I don't remember. Oh, that the re-release of a '90s adventure game for the PS4,
Oh, Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Just because, you can't legally get Grim Fandango anymore. It's in this weird nebulous gray space that nobody really owns it or something like that, and so this new PS4 version or something is going to be the only way to get it. If you want to go play Grim Fandango right now, you have to pirate it. That's just how it is right now.
I have a worry for it though. I'm a reservation because when they started remaking the Monkey Island stuff, a lot of people started complaining because but granted, this is a remake, not a new.
Right.
I feel like people are letting their sentiment overvalue the game, maybe.
Grim Fandango was really overlooked sort of when it came. It was critically it got a lot of acclaim when it came out, but it didn't sell a lot. So I feel like this is a second chance for people to go back. And the adventure game genre is not dead. Kickstarter has sort of proven that to us right now with the new
The survival horror genre is dead.
Yeah. God, you didn't see any of what is Capcom's new Resident Evil, the new Shinji Mikami thing?
I don't know.
Killer Within or Evil Within. That's what it is. That wasn't at E3 at all, from what I could see. But yeah, the recent Double Fine adventure. Come on, this is in my Steam library right now, and I can't even remember what it's called.
I remember it's a beautiful 2D.
It was really good, and I'm waiting for the second part right now. It's not
episode 2.
Yeah, no, episode 3. Did you see that Valve released a new 15-minute?
Short.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really
I haven't seen it yet.
You should definitely check it out. That's Spelunky. What is it? My Steam list is way too long. It's not Psychonauts. I have every Double Fine game here. I can't remember what it's called other than Double Fine Adventure. But there's that, and there was something else that... Oh, it was a Tex Murphy game. Got kickstarted too, so and was done successfully. But yeah. So I have hopes that because Grim Fandango is a really fantastic game. It's really funny. It's really sort of
Broken Age.
Broken Age, yes, that's the name of the thing. But yeah, but Grim Fandango is this weird sort of like grim like afterlife.
Is that why it's called
Which,
Grim Fandango?
yeah, yeah, but with this sort of Dia los Muerte kind of vibe infused into it, which is just really, really cool. Um,
I'll have to check it out whenever there's more information about the re-release.
yeah, I mean, well, you can go look at some Let's Plays and stuff it up on the internet. Like, there's a lot of that Double Fine humor in there. That's totally worth it. Yeah, that's all I got right now. I enjoyed E3 a lot this year, honestly.
It was a whole lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
It wasn't too much bad. I
yeah.
mean, EA was kind of bad, but there wasn't too much bad.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel like the big three did a really good job. I didn't talk about No Man's Sky at all. God damn, like
Oh,
that
No Man's
looks,
Sky. That
looks
game,
so good. I still don't know
the
how it's gonna be
procedural.
generated like world Minecraft thingamajig. Yeah,
Well,
it looks. If you like, have heard what the developers want to do for this, it's a small studio with like ridiculously wild, ambitious sort of
yeah, like
travel from one planet to another all in real time.
every character, every player starts out in their own unique planet.
Right.
It's like it seems like there is because it's procedural. There's so much room for it to just fall on its face.
Yeah, and just be like I can't tell you how many seeds of like uh, Starbound I've had that have just been awful. But when you do get it and it's like and it works, like there have been stories that I've been here. Like I said, I'll listen to some of the Giant Bomb after show. They talk to the people like there, so they have algorithms that create these planets and stuff like that, and but they're all like unique, and they want to be able to vary them up a little bit. So what they've done is they've actually coded like bots that will go to all these planets and take GIFs of the planets, animated GIFs of them going across the landscape. So like, oh no, and they have it all like on a video wall to look at all these like. Too many of these planets are red, so let's change up the atmosphere with like nitrogen or something like that to make it different. It's so crazy, like some of the stuff they're gonna do. So that was a really cool shot.
I don't believe. I have very strong opinions that indie game developers are more than capable of doing these beautiful alternative style of games.
Hmm.
But this, like you said, this is pretty ambitious. Like
Yeah,
if they don't do it right,
there was a bunch of other like indie stuff too. I feel like I'm
well,
glossing over. They both Microsoft and Sony like showed off some stuff. Like
well, to go off the Microsoft part, it seemed like most of Microsoft's, like they didn't say this, of course, but it seemed like most of Microsoft's press conference was practically playing catch up with Sony of last year.
hmm
Like they
But
addressed the indie games, they addressed the connectivity issues, they addressed Connect, and well, they didn't address it explicitly in
they
the
addressed
conference,
it by
but
not saying anything about it.
yeah.
Uh, and I feel like that they sort of me and DJ talked about this the way they flip positions with Sony, whereas like Sony's press conference went on way too long, and then you had that when Brian Michael Bendis who got up talking about powers.
Oh my God, that took
I fell asleep.
freaking forever.
Yeah.
Oh my
And they
God.
mentioned like vid ribbon twice, and then there's no vid ribbon anything.
I could tell you that Powers looked interesting, but it didn't look like 15 minutes worth of.
Yeah, no, just
They should have invested that time in the PS Vita because they just basically
yeah,
gave
there
the
was no
presentation.
PS Vita at all at the show, which maybe they're like going into hiding after how the Borderlands 2 port went or something. I don't know. But
Well, apparently it sold really, really well. Like the PS Vita since the Borderlands pack
I mean
especially.
that new Vita looks great, and like I really wanted to get one. I just didn't have the money at the time. Just like that bundle looked like a good deal, but Borderlands 2 does not play well on the Vita.
No, it doesn't.
at all.
But that didn't stop. That it doesn't play well on the Vita, but that didn't stop it from selling hundreds of thousands of.
Well, that's good. I mean, Vita needed to sell some more, so yeah.
But so I addressed the Microsoft thing. The one last thing I wanted to touch on was Capcom. Um,
Okay.
so Capcom showed virtually nothing.
Like I said, yeah, it was Dead Rising 3 stuff, and that was
They
it.
didn't really show much of anything. The exciting
Gri-
DLC was the best that they had.
Yeah, they just come off of Street Fighter Ultra 4 getting released and stuff like that, so
But that just seems like fighting games just seems to be the one thing that they are still doing.
yeah, I mean they lost Mega Man essentially now with Kenji Inafune doing Mighty Number 9.
And then recently, in the last few days, they announced that the shareholders suspended the buyout thing, where now they can get where it prevented aggressive takeovers before. Now that's free. Like people can purchase it.
What company should buy them up, do you think?
I don't think that anyone is going to buy them up, personally,
Hmm.
because the thing about those is those are more political than they seem. Because while technically a company can, or a person or whatever, an entity can purchase 51% of Capcom, the thing is that if they were to have an aggressive takeover, the the, the members of the leadership or whatever
The board.
have, yeah, the board have these bits in their contract that say if they ever were taken over, they would have to be paid themselves.
Ridiculously large sums of money,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Which is probably, it's almost like a fail-safe. Like nothing really changed. Like this isn't news.
Mm. I don't know, like, Japanese game companies getting bought up, though, is not... It started happening this year. Like, mainly, I'm thinking of From Software. It got bought up this year
You know
by
who should buy
Kadokawa.
it?
Hmm?
PlayStation should buy it.
There you go. Just lock it
PlayStation should just outright just buy Capcom, because let's say not PlayStation, Sony should buy it.
in.
PlayStation is the only thing that's really succeeding for Sony right now.
That's the thing. Like, Sony's not actually in the black, I'm pretty sure, mainly because all their other divisions are doing so poorly. Like, the 3D TVs went nowhere, for example.
And then like Sony Pictures is releasing these kind of okay movies.
God, yeah, that Sony Pictures, like, they did hop in on their press conference, and was it Ratchet and Clank movie, and
Yeah.
and
They're
then
actually like HD.
and they're selling off their PC division, like Vio, like they're getting rid of that completely.
It's kind of weird. I think they should just buy Capcom, because what they should do is they should just buy Capcom and make an exclusive Monster Hunter game.
God, yeah, if they got Monster Hunter back on the
Like-
on the Vita, that would totally just.
That's it.
Well, I mean, that's part of why the 3DS is doing so well right now. You better believe I'm going to
Especially-
pick up 4 when it comes out.
Especially in Japan.
Yeah, no, like it's ridiculous how well that franchise does on. Like, they're releasing an iOS version of it, for Christ's sakes, God.
I mean,
Yeah.
if it prints money.
I know we're talking about wrapping up, but now we're thinking of companies that just didn't have a showing there at all. Konami was barely there at all. Like, they had their Metal Gear Solid 5 trailer, which was
Well, if they don't have
I liked.
if they don't have any more Zone of the Enders to talk about, then I'm not giving them any more.
Then I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now apparently, like they had people there holding their floor space this year, essentially, but they didn't have.
Oh
a
yeah, I
show.
saw that. Like,
You couldn't
E3
film the booth. You had to film.
E3 the way that it worked was in E3, if you do not pay for your space,
You go
lose
to the
it.
back of the line. Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
and
else gets
so whenever people would go in there to try to film it, they would say film over here because half of it was empty.
Right. You go look at the 2K logo instead while we talk about
Yeah,
Konami.
exactly. And so that's just so awkward. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, apparently, Kojima's showing off 30 minutes of Phantom Pain tomorrow, or something like that. So.
Well, I feel like this kind of is showing something that I have been kind of getting hints at for the last couple of years, where major game developers are kind of hemorrhaging. Like,
I mean, there's been a lot of reports basically saying that this sort of AAA game development and the amount of money that's sunk into it can't really sustain itself. You're looking at, like, Destiny right now. That game is $500 million.
yeah.
Which is the most expensive video game right now, I'm pretty sure, ever produced.
If like I feel like you can be kind of safe if you're like EA or Ubisoft or Square Enix, because they develop and publish their own games.
Square Enix less so. They talk about how I want to say that Tomb Raider sold in the million. Like, it did, like, by any other count would have been fine, would have been good, like, numbers, but that Square Enix expected to sell something like 4 times the amount that they did.
Well, the thing about that is they wanted Tomb Raider to cover its own losses as well as the losses of all these other games
Right.
that didn't sell as well. So it was like an unrealistic expectation.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But that being said, the last like Hail Mary that Square Enix had was Final Fantasy XIV, which is very funny since Final Fantasy is famous for being the last game for Square.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like if they said if Final Fantasy 14 2.0 did not succeed, they were going to like just start cutting their losses and just like removing like just not making games or as many games anymore, reevaluating how they're going to do everything. But like
It did well.
it did extremely well.
Yeah.
It so what they went how far they went into the red, they went opposite and made double that with Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, which is kind
Yeah.
of funny since Final Fantasy 14 sold like at retail for $20 to $30,
Mhm.
but then it had a subscription and so on and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I think that's all I got.
That's it. Oh, less appendage. Uh,
Yeah.
Capcom, despite them not showing anything about games, Street Fighter V confirmed.
When?
They confirmed that it was beginning development.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I mean,
Uh,
okay.
I mean,
I was actually curious about this. Do you think we'll see Street Fighter 4 on the next gen consoles?
yes,
Okay. When?
I am confident. Like they will probably release Street Fighter 4 on PS4 and Xbox One. If not at the end of this year, then
Early next
probably
year.
early next year. Yeah,
And I guess with Ultra, it would be the best, iteration of it, obviously, to release.
because it comes with
Supposedly,
all the DLC costumes and
right, and all the final stuff. So, oh, uh, that's kind of weird though, because I always see like game companies want to release versions where they can sell DLC. Like you look at like Steam Weekend sales, for example. Often they will be games that have lots of DLC attached to them, or games that are on the Xbox Live Gold games, or the what's the PlayStation Plus.
plus. Yeah.
Be games that have DLC attached as well. But okay. Anyways, I'm done. E3 was cool. I don't know what we're gonna do stuff next. We've got another whole month of summer left before fall semester starts up and VGR starts up again. Hopefully, we'll do some more stuff on the blog. And I mean, this was fun. If the other guys end up getting webcams, like I know DJ was watching this for a little while here.
Well, they
Uh,
can. They don't even have to have webcams. They just need mics.
Yeah, yeah. But then you don't get to see people's faces, and that's kind of weird. I mean, I can always just turn this to an MP3, but now you get to see reactions and stuff like that.
They can see my camera like shaking.
Shake all over the place, yeah. But that's cool. So yeah, Miguel, thanks for hopping on here and talking with us about E3.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you later.
All right, bye bye.